What's going on, guys? Big welcome to you all to our channel. We are Team Crushing the Meta. As you can see, we are back, and this time I will show you guys a deck profile on Spike Warders and Premium. In my opinion, there are multiple Spike Warder Premium decks that you could build with the 2020 Premium collection, right? So we finally have our Verminous right here, which is the E-grade stride, as I've said in the video that was to talk about him for about almost an hour. If you haven't seen that video, you can check the video out. The link will be in the description section below. But in this video, I will show you the deck lists that plays the aggro build. Because there are, in my opinion, two decks that you could make with this. We have our turbo and we have our aggro. And the aggro is becoming more of a combo aggro, and the turbo is becoming more of a vanilla turbo, because now you could also build it with Zazan, and you could also build it with him. So in my opinion, those are the two very strong decks, although there is also a third deck that could also be seen played, which pretty much runs more of the Skydiver, Deadly Mason kind of stuff to work really around him. Alright, all of that being said, let's jump into this video and also let's explain to you how this deck pretty much works, what are the good combos, and why did I choose for some cards. If you're new to our channel and you're a big Spike Warder fan, then you came to the right video. If you're not a Spike Warder fan, or you like spikes but it's not your favorite, we have a lot of other content on our channel as well. So don't forget to subscribe, and also let us know in the comment section below, what is your favorite deck of all time? Your favorite deck of all time. If you ask me, I would say Rising was a really good deck that I enjoyed a lot. So I would have to choose that. Alright, let's now explain to you how this deck works and also just go through the lineup. So first we have 4 copies of Good End Dragger, followed up by 3 Bull Spike and 2 Stars. Stars, Bull Spike, Good End Dragger. Alright? All of these cards have the right amount, being 4, 3, 2. The reason is that you need Good End Dragger as your right target. You then go to Bull Spike as from your good end to Bull Spike. And then we go and sometimes use our star to make a very nice loop with Mega Instructor. So all of these cards are important and you need to have the right amounts. The only thing that you could change in this lineup is pretty much add in a 3rd star if needed. Although because this is the aggro deck, we don't want to play too much grade 3s. Alright, I will go back when I explain the combo. These cards will also be explained very well. One of the cards that we didn't really had used very well is actually Ronaldo. And Ronaldo becomes a beast in this deck. He is a very important key piece because he searched through your deck to get you the right cards on the field. Also, the Blind Plus is actually good in this deck because you pretty much want to fill up your field. Then we add in the 4 copies of Bracky as he is your beater, and then we add in the 4 copies of Deadly Mason. Deadly Mason in this case acts as a very good card in combination with our new Stride Verminous, because this guy pretty much said if the attack does not hit, and Mason said if the attack does hit. So you pretty much have a kind of a nightmare loop, nightmare deck loop right there, nightmare dolls, because they also say if he hits or he doesn't hit, you have that as well. Bracky, because he goes to soul, you need soul for the new stride, the same as him, the same as him. All of these cards give you soul, and at the same time keep up the high pressure on your opponents. In this deck you also have like 8 very good right targets, and that makes the deck actually very consistent. If you play a lot of 4-offs, that makes the deck in my eyes very consistent. Then we go to the grade 1 lineup, and we started with 4 copies of Gyro Slinger, another important card in this deck, the same as Ronaldo. This card and Ronaldo put actually a lot of work. And because we have space in our grade 1 lineup, we ended up playing 3 copies of the Kiss Alma or Kiss Mark Alma PG. This is our flip PG. This is a card that I haven't played in a very long time. Very happy to see her back. Pretty much when you guard with her, she if you have a copy of her already in your drop zone, then you counter charge 1. And because this deck actually sometimes run out of counter blasts very fast, it's good that you have the counter charge options in the deck. We have 3 copies of Verdi. Acrobat Verdi could help you to stride, but also could search your star, as your star is a very important combo piece in this deck. And we end up with 2 copies of Death Flag, Death Flag right here search your Bad End Dragger, especially in combination with cards like Agrius, cards like Deadly Mason. It could plus you, and that's really good, because why not, right? And also you sometimes rely on having your Bad End Dragger to go to your Good End Dragger, which is still your best combo of the deck. For the heals, we run 2 Tiaras and 2 Lindsay. I like the 2-on-2. It's up to you to change it out if you want to. You could play like 4 Tiaras or just play 4 Lindsay. It's up to you. I find both of them are very good. The counter charge is nice. The power and the shield value is also nice. Depending on how the format will shift, the heals could maybe change into 4 Tiaras if needed. Then we have the new Premium Collection crit. This is the crit with the skill that you could stride with. So it's kind of stride for the crit. I love this card. I actually like it way more than the Premium Collection crit from last year. Although that you guys would say, hey D-Boy, but you kind of need soul, right, for the new stride? Yes, but the crit from the old Premium Collection doesn't really work with Bad End, because if you have it on the field, you don't really have the opportunity to put it into your soul with Good End because of Good End skill. So because of that, I took it out and I'm running 4 copies of these, because in this deck you just really want to stride, and also you want to keep reriding. Last 2 crits that we run in the deck are 1 copy of Silent Joker of the old one. So 1 of each arts. This card has the ability that you could put it into your soul to counter charge. So it's a soul charger and a counter charger, and it's also a nice card to call in the early game if you have used cards like Ronaldo. Also in the late game, doesn't matter, because you always get the value back, which is the soul charger and the counter charge. So then we get into the stands and the draws, and we play 4 copies of Instructor and 1 Devil Watch, right? Devil Watch has a very nice synergy with the new stride. He gives you counter charge and he gives you soul charge, and he gains a little bit power. But because you have those force markers out there, it doesn't really matter. It's not about the power, it's about the counter charge and the soul charge, which means that you could extend your combo, right? Also, he has charge, which could make that very effective, because sometimes you could leave the field if you want him to leave the field. Mega Instructor with Star, of course, this is the kind of also the star of the deck. He gives you the multi-attacking options, and he gives you the crazy soul charge. And the good thing about him is he doesn't cast a counter blast. As long as you could activate him, as long as he is charged or with the skill of Bad End, you could put it back to the deck, he will be active. And the crazy loop that you make with him and Star is actually very effective, which I could show you later. Excuse me. Last trigger is 1 draw PG. The thing is, I didn't really need the 4 Great 1 PGs, and I didn't find myself needing a second stand or another crit. And I ended up with saying, hey, why not to play 1 random draw? I feel it's fine for me. If you guys would like to change it and you could take out Stride Folder, you could play 4th Perfect Guard, being a counter charger or any other Perfect Guard you want to. And you could take this card out and play another crit or another stand or another whatever you want. So for me, this actually is the strange lineup, but trigger lineup, but it works very well. So having that 1 extra draw, having that 1 extra Devil Watch is kind of cool. It's also nice that you could now kind of attack also with your Vanguards in the early game, because you could drive check a stand because you play 5 of them. If you want to add the 6th one being also a stand, it's up to you. But sometimes I find the stands unnecessary, let's say, especially during your stride turns. So yeah, they're good in your hand, they're good on the field, but you don't want to drive check them. And drive checking a draw trigger is always good. Even damage checking a draw trigger is always good. So that's why this strange lineup. Alright, so let's leave him out because he's an important combo piece. Let's leave this, one of the old ones. Let's leave the OG art, and now I could go back and explain the deck, right? So these are important, at least let's leave them right there. For the starters, it's up to you to play the new Mega Trainer or the Analyzer, Mega Analyzer. Up to you. I like Analyzer more because he gives you an extra attack during your Bad End, Good End turn, which I will show you the combo in a minute. But you could also play Mega Trainer, the new one, because he gives you soul and a draw in the early game. A draw in the early game makes the deck more consistent, gives you more cards, and also the soul is important. But still, with all of that being said, I still don't want to play the Mega Trainer. I want to keep the Mega Analyzer. If we see a lot of Kagero, a lot of decks that this card would not work against, then we could definitely switch him. So that's actually the only thing in the deck that I'm switching around, and sometimes the strides. Talking about strides, let's show you my G-Zone. The G-Zone starts with 4 copies of Agrius. Agrius is an important combo piece in this deck, an important, let's say, stride that you want to stride with. If you want to cut this to 2 so you could have more options, that's pretty much up to you, but I would not advise it, especially not in this format. Agrius is becoming even better and better, and that's why we need the 4 copies of him. Then I also add the 2 copies of Supernova. I still like this card, especially because it's a very easy flip target. You flip one of him and you could always use the second one to make something charge on the field. So that's good, especially with your Mega Instructor. I like that, but pretty much you don't really need him. So you could take him out to play anything else, which in this situation would be a Dust and a second Good End. Because in this deck I only played 1 Good End, and I have been in situations where I kind of needed the second Good End. And for now, because I'm testing, I'm keeping the Supernova in because I want more options. But you could easily say we would add a second Good End and we would add a Dust, because this deck doesn't play a Dust. I only play 1 copy of the new Stride. Again, if you want to take the Supernova out, you would have the options to do it like this, to, let's say, run 2 copies of him and 2 copies of Good End. This is also possible. Again, it's to your preference. I like to have the Supernova just because I like to have the extra option, but this is something that I could understand completely, although you will never need a second copy of him. Maybe if his turn did not work because you're playing against Kagero, they deny Griffin or something, then that would not work. But I with my testing, I didn't feel like the second copy of him is needed, and that's why you ended up with having a 1 space in this deck, and that 1 space could be a Dust, could be a Dirty Picaro, it could be anything you want to. Pretty up to you to run whatever you like. So yeah, I would advise you to run Dust. I don't really see a Picaro being a good use in this deck, although you do play Devil Watch, which is the card that gives you counter charge, and you could make like some crazy loops. But yeah, again, it's pretty much up to you to play whatever stride you want to play. You could even play second Hillard 8 or something. It's pretty much up to you. But let's say that we play a Dust, because this deck has actually very nice combos that you do with Dust. So your G-Zone would look pretty much like this, and then we add in the Dust, we add in the Formido, we add in the 1 Violence Ace, and the 1 GB8. Okay, so this is your G-Zone. Let's talk about it for a minute. The GB8 is an important card, right? If you could go into him, you would definitely use him, and this card actually gives you access to GB8, which I will show you in a minute what your first, second, and third stride turn would look like. And then we have the Dust. Dust, again, with Star and Instructor, they could make a loop, especially by having force markers, especially if they are divided, then that's even better. But pretty much because your opponent cannot G-guard, that's the most reason why we sometimes still go into Dust. If your opponent gives you too much counterblasts. Formido, of course, is an important card to have. It does help you out in situations where he gives you soul, a lot of soul, that your new stride will be even more effective. But at the same time, that free striding is good. And yeah, sometimes you just want to go to a Formido to get rid of some things that your opponent have on the field, because people sometimes still forget that Spike Brothers have the retirement power because of Formido. Violence Ace is a card that could draw you cards, but especially because of his second ability, which is when your opponent would guard with 2 cards, you pretty much could counterblast 1, put one of your Regards into the soul to call something from your hand. And that is a different way than he works. Like, his ability works when your opponent guards, and this card would work when your opponent guards with 2 cards. So both of them are very nice, or if the attack does not hit. Both of them are very nice, and both of them have different uses, and that's why we play 1-1. And again, the Dust is, in my opinion, important to have in the deck as well. So for the G Guardians, we have a 1 copy of this mill, then we add in the 2 geese or guess, and then we add in the Terrible Linus as E2 off. This is just the 5 G guards. You don't really need the 7 or the 6 because this deck was not designed to get to the GB8, although it could turbo to the GB8, and that's why you still have the 2 flippers, but not on turn 1. Like having 3 heals in hand could mean that you could turbo to the GB8 if you want to. The deck is not built to turbo to GB8. Also, your grade 1, your grade 2 lineup is not built to get to the GB8. Alright, that's it about the deck. Let's show you the first stride, second stride, and third stride turn. Alright, so now we could talk about the combos for a little bit. So going force 1 or force 2, going first or second, all of that actually makes your combo or your go-to stride different. But the important fact is that we as Spikeworld players would have to adapt to each situation, and because of that we sometimes have to change our strategy around to be able to do the right thing, right? To have the best combo that we could do in the best situation. So again, talking about if you go first or second, it's important that you would have the right tools to be able to be effective. This deck is built to aggro, right? So you're built to give your opponent a lot of damage and try to rush them and have them sweat. So if you go first, then most of the time your go-to stride would be Bull Spike, or your go-to right target would be Bull Spike. And after that, you could go back and ride into the Bad End Dragger, and then you have access to Good End Dragger. If you stay on Bull Spike, that's also alright, because then you could also go to the new stride, which is Verminous. But mostly, if you have used Bull Spike, then you don't have enough soul to go for your new stride. So all in all, the stride that will always be active is Agrius. And then the other first stride options are Formido, are this and that. Alright, in this deck, you don't really have the right tools to soul charge that much. Maybe if your opponent gives you so much counterblast and you were able to rush them so much at the same time, if it was a phase game, you attack them phase, they attack you phase, then he will be active. But most of the time, he will not be your first stride. So let's take him out. And let's not talk about Formido, because Formido would actually slow you down. So he's a good card, good tech card to have in here, but it's not a card that you will go into that often. So your stride options would be one of these, right? So this is your stride option. So I will now switch into not talking about going first or second, because otherwise the video will be too long. I will just show you your first stride. Being going first or second doesn't really matter, but most of the time this is when you go second, so you have the first stride. Okay, so your first stride would be something like this. You have your starter, which is chilling right here, right? And let's say you ride into Death Flag, and after that you have used the Ronaldo skill to have a Bracky on the field, you have a Silent Joker on the field, and that's pretty much it. Let's say that your field looks a little bit like this. Ronaldo gets you 1 soul charge, so that's 1 extra soul, and the next turn, let's say that Bracky also gave you a soul charge, or maybe they destroyed Bracky, so hey, you don't have that extra soul charge. Okay, then you ride into your Bad End Dragger, and I will use both forces, right? I will use force 1 and force 2 to show you when it's which better. If we go into the strategy that I showed you just now before this, when you go first and you go into Bull Spike, then you pretty much could rely on force 2. Why? Because when you go Agrius with force 2, that's very effective, especially if you have 2 force 2s. Also, the turn after that, you now feel the soul and you have the opportunity to go to him, and he works very good with force 2. But the deck pretty much works the best with force 1. So this would be your soul, and you will have force 1, right? This is the combo that we do with force 1. Okay, after that, now you will fill up your soul, but first you stride into the Good End. Okay, what's important right here is that your back row would, so you activate this to get more soul and you get the counter charge. Your back row needs to have 2 instructors and the 1 analyzer for the full combo. And one of the instructors needs to be charged. How could you achieve that? Well, you have 3 cards that could achieve that, which is the Ronaldo, which is Gyro Slinger, and of course Star, right? So 3 cards that could give you that. Pretty much one of the mega instructors you could call from hand, or you have called in the early game with your one of these cards, right? Especially you could also use it with him because his skill is not GB. So all of that could have been achieved. And also if you have used one of them, then you get 1 more soul. So let's say that you didn't only use Ronaldo, but you also used the Gyro Slinger in the early game, and he gives you 1 instructor. And this turn, you need to use Star or Gyro again or another Ronaldo to get the 2nd instructor to the field. Let's say you have used Star, right? So 1 instructor is charge. Okay, let's put this on the charging instructor to make him charge. Now there are some important facts which we will go through when we go into the combo. Okay, so if your field would look like this, you only need 2 counterblasts for this combo, and you need one of the instructors being charged. If one of the instructors is not charged, then you will not get the opportunity to use the skill of Analyzer, and that's a very important fact. Alright, so how will this combo work? Well, first you attack with this, then you attack with that, so you have 2 columns that you attack with, and then you attack with the Good End, right? So you activate the Good End skill at the end of the battle, you boost it because why not? And this is also a card that you could boost, but him you don't have to boost because he is charged, and otherwise he will go back to the deck. Then at the end of this battle, you will activate the skill to put 1 card from your hand into the soul, counterblast 1, and he goes back to your G zone. You choose 2 Grey 3s from your deck, being 1 Bad End and the second one being a Wolf Spike, and you write both of them because you don't have an open rag circle to call the second one, right? That's the skill of Good End. That's something that we know from Bushi that we have to do it this way. So this would mean that you get 2 more force markers. Yes? I think we all agree on that. So let's do that. So 1, and where are my force markers? Oh, there they are. Okay, so 1 and 2 force markers, right? So here we have now 3 force markers to work with. Then you will get the ability to call the 2 Bad Ends. Why? Because you did ride on the top of them. So this would leave, he goes hello, he would leave, he goes hello. So you already attacked 3 times, right? And this is the 3rd one, and then you have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 attacks in 1 turn. And also these attacks become stronger and stronger, right? So now what you want to do is you want to attack with the rear guard that doesn't have the stand behind it first. And that's why it's always better to have the charging instructor not in front of the rear guard who has the markers. And because of that, that would mean that you will lose 1 less soul. If you do not, because one of your columns could not hit, then you would have to do it this way. So what do I mean? I mean, when you attacked like this, because this was the attacking pattern that we already did, right? It was like this. When you attacked with this before your Vanguard even attacked, so you still have your Good End, or I mean Bad End as your Vanguard, and then of course you have the Good End on top of it. Your field looks like this. What you want to do is you want to attack with this first, or you want to have the marker on this side not in front of the one who has charge. But this is only 11k, so this would not be that effective, right? So how you could do this differently? Well, you could attack into a rear guard or something, or just do it and then you lose 1 more soul. Pretty much up to you to do it, but if you want to have soul, then you could just attack into a rear guard or something. I mean with this, so you'd have it like this, you attack onto a rear guard or something, and then this would attack the Vanguard, boosted by this, so this would be 12, 22, it even hits above a trigger. And yeah, again, that's pretty much what you want to do is you want to have him, the charging one, and the marker on different columns. Okay, so now you have activated the bad end skill and you ended up with having these rear guards looking like this. Okay, now it's important that you attacked with this bad end first. And of course you have more force markers because we have just created 2 more because of the right. Okay, so you have 3 markers to work with. You attack with this first and you don't activate any skill. Yes, so at the end of the battle, nothing will happen. Then you attack with this Bad End Dragger, boosted by the charging instructor, and you use the skill of Bull Spike to Soul Blast something to move all of the markers to this side, and this would be a crazy huge attack, right? Because these are 3 force markers that you have right here, and you're still boosting him. Although the boost doesn't really make a big difference, maybe if you're attacking into a 12k Vanguard or 11k Vanguard, then it does, but if you're attacking to a 13k, it doesn't matter. But you want to boost him because now his skill will go off. And the reason why one of them needs to be charged is you want his skill to go off at the end of the battle. Because if he was not charging, then you could use his skill to put one of your instructors back to the deck, and now you would bind and call, right? That would work. Problem, you will never get his skill off because he's attacking, you don't want to do that, and there is nothing else you could do. There's nothing else you would bind and call. You don't want to bind and call this. Even make it a charge doesn't really give you a lot, right? So then you would say, hey, I could use that on the second attack, right? So this attacks, you bind and call this, then you attack with him, and then you bind and call that, and then, you put that at the bottom, then you bind and call this, right? And now again something went back to the deck, but you cannot use his skill again because he is attacking and he got bind and call. So nothing else to do that. And at the last wave, even if you attack with this, you pay the counter blast, put this back to the deck again. Now his skill still can't activate because he is still attacking. So the right way to do it is like this, as I explained. You have one instructor right here, one instructor right there, and boosted or not boosted doesn't matter, one of them is charged. This already attacked, then you soul blasted the Ronaldo, and now you attack with this attack at the end of the battle. This important, at the end of the battle his skill will kick in. He goes back to the bottom of the deck, you will soul charge 1 card from your hand, and now you would bind and call something, and you would bind and call this, and now his skill will kicks in. He goes to your soul and you could bind and call something else. And now you have 2 attacking rear guards again. That's important to do. Now you attack with this Bad End Dragger again. Activate no skill. Then attack with this Bad End Dragger. You activate Bull Spike skill, Soul Blast. Move the 2 markers right here. Or 3 markers. And now you activate his skill on the attack to put this to the bottom of the deck. And you will soul charge 1 card from your hand to the soul to bind and call this again. This is 7th and 8th attack, and all the attacks are strong, and this is the one attack who gets the extra crits. Okay, that's the combo that you do. Then on the next turn you have already created soul. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 soul, and that is why the new stride is good, because now you could go into the second new stride. Normally after this turn you do still have some hand, although because the instructors, you activated them twice, so they did cost you 2 cards from hand, but only 2 cards, so that's okay. Although you did need to fill up your field, but Ronaldo does that very well by just having 1 card from your hand put in the soul. He already could give you the field. Okay, so on the next turn, let's say that your opponent retired everything, and this is when you get into your second stride. You could stride into the new stride, into an Agrius, or into, let's say, this. Alright? Yeah, you could also go into a dust, but normally you have also used some counter blasts, so dusts. Let's not talk about dust, let's talk about these, right? So Agrius, we all know, very easy. If you go into him, like you would have your field look like this, and then you have 2 attackers on the field, doesn't matter which one they are. Let's say 2 brackies, and let's also say that you have something like the death flag and something like a gyro slinger. Okay, so let's say that your field would look something like this, and this is very good because you could just attack with this first, and then attack with that, and then you attack with Agrius. Use Agrius skill to bind them all, and then to recall them. If you have some stand trigger, then that would activate. He will activate to give you more cards. But you will have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 attacks, just 5 attacks. And if you don't have instructors, then you could not extend your combos. If you do have an instructor, then that's different, because now you could also charge the instructor. So if your field would look like this with the Agrius turn, then that's good, because you could attack, you could go, let's do it like this, you could go boom, boosted, bomb, boosted, he's not charged, and then you attack with Agrius, then you bind them all, and you recall them back. Recall 1, 2, make that sweet column right there, and then this and that, which is also a nice column, right? So you could do it like this. Now you charge him, and what you want to do is you attack with this first, right? That would not work because he will not activate. So what you want to do is you attack with this first, he gets the extra 10k, so this is 28, then you attack with this column, and at the end of this battle, his skill will kick in to bind and call one of your Vanguards, right? And if it's good, if your one of the Vanguards that would recall is in the front row, so you want to have it like this, and he will be binded and called back, and you could activate his ability to put 1 card from your hand to the soul to call even more to the field. Okay, this would work. Then you have 1 extended attack with your instructor, and he gyro slinger will give you another extra attack. So you'll do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's 7 attacks. That's definitely good to finish your opponent off. But again, it costs you cards from hand. And the important combo that I want to show you guys, it's not Agrius. It is actually the combo with the new strike. Because as I said, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We said 7, so we have 7 soul, and now you have your field looking like this, right? Your opponent is already on a lot of damage. If you could ride into something different, then that's even better, because you could create even 1 more marker, and that 1 more marker would make your combo even easier if you want to go to the new stride, right? But let's say you don't. That is still good, because you could still go to the new stride. So what does the new stride means to the deck? Well, you already have only 1 GB, because your good end gives you only 1 GB because he doesn't flip anything. And let's say that you G-guarded once, right? That's nothing crazy. You just G-guarded once, and your G-guard was just normal geese G-guard, or you've used the flip G-guard. Okay, let's talk about both scenarios. Now you want to go to your new stride, okay? So, and you could have like some things that you call into the field. And your opponent is, let's say he's sitting on 4 damage, right? Not 5, just 4. So you have Ronaldo, you have Bracky, you have the Mason, all cards that are good, right? All cards that have some combo potential. You have your Double Watch, you have Instructor, you have cards like Star, all cards again that could give you potential combo. One card is important is your Deadly Mason. So Deadly Mason has a very good synergy with the new stride. Okay. Other card that is important, as long as you have Counterblast, is the Ronaldo and your Gyro Slingers. Because Ronaldo, Gyro Slinger, Instructor, and Star, those cards will give you the multi-attack, right? So let's not focus on Gyro Slinger, let's also not focus on Ronaldo, because that's the easy way out. Let's focus on Giant Star right here. So if you go into this and you have a Giant Star in your hand, or a Deadly Mason, then you're already good to go. You're already set, because you could do it like this, and pretty much you could already create a loop. but you could also do it with him. Okay, let's explain to you how the loop works. Pretty much, you call the star from your hand and the star will call you the instructor, right? Problem with the instructor is he doesn't have a marker beneath it. That's why I said it would be better if you could write one more time. But even with that, it's still okay. This is still alright. Even if you could do it like this, still good. If they have some interceptors, you could also do it like this. All good. But important that you have the instructor on a column and the instructor is charged. That's important. So what you do is you attack with this first. They have to let this attack go through. If they don't, then you could call from hand because of his attack. So they would take this and that would put them at 5 damage, right? He will stay on the field. Then you attack with instructor and instructor will not hit because he's only a 4k. But his skill will not go off because instructor doesn't have a marker. That doesn't matter. He will go back to the deck because of his ability that he's charged. And now you put one card from your hand into the soul and you bind and call the star. Star will cost you one more counterblast yet again to get you the instructor to the field. And this is how you create the loop. The loop costs you counterblast. But when you put them at 5 damage, it doesn't matter anymore because you don't really have to use the loop anymore because he will be the one who will get you the pluses and the call options. Because you have used his skill twice, so you should have 9 soul, right? So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So that's 9 soul. So that's, you use the skill twice, you use this soul once, so that's actually 10 soul. There you go. 10 cards in your soul. That's crazy. Because it doesn't matter whenever you have used his skill to get you the 10th soul, and this will come back to the field. That's pretty much it. That's pretty much all you need. Now you have 10 soul, which is more than enough to get 5 attacks, and you have a good attack in Vanguard right here. So you attack with this, they have to guard, then at the end of the battle, activate his skill, so you Soul Blast 2, and then you draw a card and then you call something from your hand, right? And now cards like these will be effective. This comes to the field, you get the charge off, you soul charge, you counter charge, and you could attack again, right? Attack again, the attack does not hit, Soul Blast again, and call something from your hand. You just keep calling them on the top of each other. If you have a Ronaldo, you could have even more, but just the soul charge. If you have counter blast, you could do even more. If you get another star to your hand, it's even better. You get star, activate star skill to put even one more card from your hand to the field. Call the instructor right here, or boost with him, whatever, and you could just keep attacking and you keep creating soul, right? You keep creating soul. So many attacks that you could do. We have already attacked 3 times and you could still have this. And each time you would flip something from your G-Zone. And that's also the effective thing about this. Because even if they got Miracle Heal and stuff and they used all of their field and they don't have shit anymore, the next turn you will go to the GB8. Because as we said, your G-Zone had 1 flipped, being the good end. And then he will give you, as we saw just yet, he will give you 5 attacks. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, GB6. And as we said, if you have G guarded once or twice in this game, then you pretty much have GB8. And with that, you will reach your big boy GB8. Again, he's not the finisher in this deck, but this works. So that's why this card is so good, especially to go into as a second stride. And that's the combo that I want to show you guys. 2 important factors. The first combo, when you will use your instructors and your analyzer, how one of them needs to be charged, otherwise the combo would not work, and how you could use this card most effectively. So those are my thoughts. This is my deck build for the aggro. You guys could definitely build it differently. If you have any interesting ideas, let me know in the comment section below, or as you always do, just contact me on Facebook. What we will see next on our channel is, of course, other deck profiles that uses the new strides, but for spikes we will also see. Actually, it's kind of a secret build that I want to keep it, the turbo build, which kind of also use Zazan. But because Zazan is getting so much hate, I'm trying to also build decks without Zazan and with Zazan. As you see, this deck doesn't really need Zazan or Vanillas to make it good. This deck actually is better without all of that bullshit. And also, we will also see a deck profile for spikes in standard, because spike is one of the best decks to go against Vanquisher. That's also a very important fact. Alright guys, that was it for me. Thank you guys all for watching. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to our channel, and we would like to see you in the next video. Okay, thanks for watching guys. Till next time.